Are all the rumors true about like Russians liking vodka and having it in the morning with their breakfast, like putting their cereal in vodka?
Yeah, the thing about stereotypes is they're very, they're very broad, and they focus on the loud minority, the people that pop up. But even though vodka is pretty popular in Russia, it's not to say that every single Russian is a drunk that drinks vodka every single day. There's definitely that culture, like I discussed, like outside of Moscow and St. Petersburg. There's like a lot of little villages where people live, in poverty. They have nothing going for them, and what else is there to do, especially if you live in Siberia? What else is there to do besides drinking?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole concept of Russian roulette, where you're thinking like, oh damn,
Oh,
why
yeah,
would
like,
anybody do that?
They got nothing else to do.
Yeah, imagine you're living in the middle of nowhere in Siberia, and it's cold. You're cold. There's nothing to do. Valleys and snow, and you're freezing. And what else there to do? You drink, and if you get desperate enough, be like, "Hey, you want to play a game?" And that's the most fun you have. Even if the other person shoots himself, is like, "Oh, nice, cool,
Nice, cool.
Yeah,
Like,
because that's at least some entertainment. Imagine you're sitting in your room all day with nothing to do. You don't have your phone. You have your computer. That's actually how he later prepared for his role in Joker, where he would lock himself in a room for weeks on end, and he would become so like crazy because imagine you're locked in a room for weeks with nothing to do. After a while, people break like mentally, and they start hearing voices and stuff, and that's how he was able to portray the character so well, is because he drove himself crazy. Yeah, imagine that, but you are living in Siberia, and that same concept where you're living in the middle of nowhere. All you have is your buddy who's also on shift guard, and there's literally nothing to do. Especially back in the day, in the Soviet days, there's no phone, there's no computer. You have nothing. You just have
vodka and
just
guns.
watching, and then you go crazy after a while and be like, hey, you want to shoot? You want to see who shoots those first?
that'd be very like funny, but also like, well, no, it's not funny, but like kind of funny.
Wow, you're a psychopath.
I'm such a psychopath. But no, we've talked about all the fun stuff you do. Like, let's talk business, because you're working on something really cool, and I'll hold up the T-shirt right now. What is VAnalytics? Tell us about what you're working on right now, because you've got your. Oh, I'm covering it. Yeah, you can scan this QR code for a website that doesn't work yet, but it will soon.
Well,
tell me about it.
Yeah, you can definitely scan the QR code, but the website, to get into website, the code is VAnalytics. You just type in password VAnalytics, all lowercase, and you'll get access to this website. But I basically, on the side, I started a company called VAnalytics, which is basically helping small businesses unlock the power of their data. And I've noticed that a lot of analytics companies, they focus a lot on big companies, which makes sense. They have the most budget, the biggest money, but the small businesses often get overlooked. So I decided to create a business that's helping companies with their data, so data management, data analysis, anything of that sort, and helping small businesses help make sense of their data and to help them propel their success. Because if you ever own a small business, you know how hard it is to run something like that, and especially if you don't have any business experience, and you don't know, for example, you're running a business and you know why you don't have a lot of retention from your customers. But if you look into your data and you see, like, for example, if you see that there's like spikes in data, so you have a lot of sales in the summer and then it just drops in the winter, be like, okay, so I have a seasonal business, and for me to have better success, I should focus all my marketing on the winter months when people don't buy my product as much. Summer months, you don't have to do any marketing because people, go to your business and they take advantage. But it's very important to know what the data says and to collect a lot of data from customers, because then you can take that data and propel your business to get more sales and more success. Because if you don't know what's happening in your business, then how are you going to fix the problems?
And I feel like it's so much more, because everyone who's ever started a business or something, you can read the analytics that are like part of that platform. Like I can go read, like you can go and read like how many YouTube subscribers you have, but so much more than that. And why it's good to have a human is it's not just the what of the data, it's the how do we get here and what does this mean? Like, why are we here? That's why that's why these companies spend so much money on analysts, because it's, anyone can make a dashboard and say, okay, here's, numbers are down. Why are the numbers down? How did that happen? What is this measuring? So I think like having someone like you to come in and not just say like, oh, your sales are down, but here's why. Here's what it's in. Okay, like let's pivot to this. Here's how we can kind of fix things. And I think that's something that's just so important on top of that.
Yeah, the analysis is definitely part is very important. It's one thing, okay, you have all this raw data, so what? You need somebody to make sense of it, but not only make sense of it, be like, oh, this is what the charts say. Okay, I'll see you later. No, it's showing what the data shows, and then putting your own insight into what the data is showing and what you believe the data is saying and what your recommendations are and how to improve it in that aspect. Say you find a bottleneck and be like, oh yeah, I found this bottleneck, see the chart.
Okay,
yeah?
cool.
You have any questions? No. It's like, hey, I found this bottleneck, here's the chart. Here's how to fix it. Because I looked into the data, I looked at your business, and I saw that, here's the chart for this thing, but I also noticed this other aspect of your business shows, this kind of progression. So I believe that what's causing this bottleneck is this progression of the other data. So for example, even if something as simple as employee management, say you have, you have some employees and you want to find out some insights from your employees. Say you want to find out what is the retention rate of your employees. You want to know if the retention rate is high or low. You want to know why. Like you never know. Especially if you're working like a mid-sized company, there's probably a lot of employees and you don't notice people coming and going, but then you notice, oh, all right, I have a high retention